The Earth is a treasure trove of wonders, yet some landscapes push the boundaries of understanding. From unusual formations shaped by unseen forces to terrains that seem almost otherworldly, here are 15 of the most mysterious landforms ever discovered. Devil's Tower, Wyoming. Devil's Tower National Monument in Wyoming stands as one of America's most iconic and enigmatic geological formations. Rising 867 feet, 264 meters, above the plains of northeastern Wyoming, this solitary monolith has fascinated people for generations. Recognizing its significance, President Roosevelt designated it as the first U.S. national monument in September 1906, ensuring its preservation. Its name, Devil's Tower, originated from an 1875 expedition that likely mistranslated a native term. Indigenous peoples, however, have long revered it, calling it names like Bear's Lodge and Tree Rock. The formation's origin remains a scientific puzzle. The leading theory suggests it's the remnant of an ancient volcanic intrusion, where magma cooled and solidified underground, later exposed as softer rock eroded away. Yet, there's no clear evidence of volcanic activity around the tower itself, adding to the mystery of how such a massive structure emerged in an otherwise flat landscape. One of the most remarkable features of Devil's Tower is its vertical hexagonal columns that appear meticulously sculpted, creating a strikingly geometric effect. While geologists understand this phenomenon, it gives the impression of a deliberately crafted structure. Native legends lend further mystique, like the tale from the Lakota Sioux, in which a group of girls was saved from a giant bear by the Great Spirit, who raised the ground beneath them, forming the tower. The bear's claws left deep vertical grooves on the sides, markings still visible today. In the absence of a definitive scientific explanation, who's to say this ancient legend doesn't hold some truth? The Moeraki Boulders, New Zealand. The Moeraki Boulders, located on Cocoa Beach along the Otago coast of New Zealand's South Island, are one of the most unusual natural wonders in a country renowned for its stunning landscapes. These large, spherical boulders, some measuring 6.5 feet, 2 meters, in diameter, are scattered across the beach, and their almost perfectly round shapes have puzzled scientists and locals alike. While modern science can explain their formation, the mystical allure of this site remains strong, particularly in the context of local beliefs. Geologically, the Moeraki boulders are what's known as Septarian concretions, formed around 60 million years ago. The process began when minerals like calcite accumulated around a central core on the ocean floor, similar to how pearls form inside oysters. Over millions of years, additional layers of minerals compressed these formations, resulting in the round boulder-like structures we see today. Despite this scientific explanation, the Moeraki boulders appear to have been placed deliberately owing to their large size and perfect spherical shape. While similar boulders can be found in other parts of the world, such as in North America and Costa Rica, the Moeraki boulders are unique for their size and similarity to one another. Some boulders have even cracked open over time, revealing intricate, honeycomb-like patterns inside, which are the septaria, or internal mineral deposits that have crystallized into geometric shapes. According to local Maori legend, the Moeraki boulders are the remains of eel baskets, gourds, and calabashes that washed ashore after the great ancestral canoe, the Arayura, was shipwrecked along the coast. The nearby cliffs are believed to be the petrified remains of the wrecked canoe. For many, the boulders are more than just geological formations. They are a spiritual symbol of ancestral journeys and connection to the past, which imbues them with deep cultural significance. Vulcan Point, Philippines. Vulcan Point is one of the most unique geological formations on Earth, located within Taal Volcano in the Philippines. It is a volcanic island situated in a lake, which itself is on an island in a lake, which is also on an island. Though this might sound like an optical illusion or a geological quirk, Vulcan Point is very real and is a major subject of interest for scientists and travelers alike. Taal Volcano, one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines, has a complex volcanic system that contributed to the formation of this strange landform. Vulcan Point is located on the western shore of Crater Lake, which fills the main crater of Taal Volcano. This volcano sits within the much larger Taal Lake, which fills a massive caldera created by a prehistoric volcanic eruption. Despite frequent volcanic activity in the region, Vulcan Point has remained remarkably intact. This resilience was most recently demonstrated in 2020 when Taal volcano erupted, sending ash as far as Metro Manila. Initially, it was believed that Vulcan Point might have been destroyed, but once the eruption subsided, the island was still standing, though its vegetation had burned away, and the surrounding lake water had drained away through cracks in the volcano. Since then, the water and vegetation have returned, giving the island its life back. Culturally, Taal volcano and Vulcan Point have played a significant role in local lore and mythology. For centuries, the volcano and its surrounding islands have been revered and feared by local communities. Stories of spirits and deities associated with the volcano abound, and some locals view Taal as a living entity, with Vulcan Point being an integral part of its larger mystical body. This deep connection to local beliefs adds a layer of cultural reverence and mystery to the already fascinating geological feature of Vulcan Point. Kaindy Lake, Kazakhstan. Kaindy Lake, nestled in the Tian Shan Mountains of southeastern Kazakhstan, is a recent addition to the world's natural wonders. Created in 1911 after a massive limestone landslide, this lake plunges to a depth of around 1,300 feet, 400 meters. The result is an underwater marvel that feels otherworldly, as the trees submerged over a century ago remain partially intact. Rather than decaying, the tree trunks support new growth by feeding nutrients to algae and other plants, creating an ever-expanding, green underwater forest. Reaching this surreal spot requires a journey to the remote mountain range, far from any city, at an elevation of over 6,000 feet. Once there, visitors are greeted by the lake's vivid blue or green hues, shifting with its mineral content. Through its crystal-clear water, the sunken forest is visible in striking detail. This is a place where nature, aided by an unlikely sequence of events, has created something unique, something that truly feels like it belongs to another world. Hveragerði Geothermal Field, Iceland. The Hveragerði Geothermal Field in Iceland is a fascinating and mysterious landscape where the raw power of the Earth is on full display. Located along the Golden Circle route, this geothermal area is home to some of Iceland's most famous hot springs and geysers, including the renowned geyser. Geyser, which gave all other geysers their name, is no longer as active as it once was but used to erupt with spectacular force, sending boiling water 230 feet into the air. The geyser's behavior is unpredictable, with periods of dormancy followed by sudden, powerful eruptions. Earthquakes in the region can trigger eruptions, but predicting when and why these events occur remains a mystery. The geothermal field also features bubbling mud pools and steam vents scattered throughout the area, creating an alien-like landscape. The boiling, sulfur-rich mud constantly churns, producing strange gurgling sounds that seem to emanate from deep within the earth. While much has been studied about the geothermal activity in this area, its intensity and unpredictability suggest that there's still much more to be understood about what's happening beneath the surface. The Hveragerði Geothermal Field holds cultural and spiritual significance for the Icelandic people, who have long considered their island a land shaped by powerful natural forces. The geothermal fields are often associated with stories of the hidden folk or elves, mythical beings believed to live in the rocks and hills. According to local legend, perhaps these elusive spirits hold the key to unlocking the deeper mysteries of Iceland's geothermal activity. The Dana Landform, China. China is renowned for its vast and diverse landscapes, from towering mountain ranges to expansive deserts. However, one of its most mysterious and spectacular regions is the Dana Landform, primarily found in the provinces of Gansu, Gyeong, and Hunan. This region is famous for its vivid and colorful rock formations, especially the striking red sandstone cliffs that ripple across the land like waves of fire. These formations have earned the area its nickname, the Rainbow Mountains. The most famous examples of these formations can be seen in a National Geological Park in Gansu province, where the hills are painted in stunning shades of red, orange, yellow, and green. The colors are a result of various minerals in the rocks, with iron oxide being a primary contributor. Interestingly, the colors seem to change throughout the day, creating an ever-evolving landscape, influenced by the time of day and weather conditions. While the general process behind these colors is understood, the exact conditions that led to such intense coloration in specific areas remain a mystery. The landforms' strange shapes, towering peaks, narrow ridges, and deep gorges are unlike anything else on Earth. The region is often said to feel as if something rare and extraordinary took place to create it. The unique formations have inspired the construction of temples and shrines within the cliffs, further linking the land to the divine realm. These large formations, which sometimes resemble castles, animals, or human figures, have fueled myths and stories about gods and mythical creatures. Historically, the area has been difficult to explore due to its remote location, surrounded by rough terrain and deep valleys. This isolation has helped preserve the natural beauty of the landscape, adding to its sense of mystery. In recent years, improved transportation and tourism infrastructure have made the Dana landform more accessible, allowing people to experience its grandeur firsthand. The constantly shifting colors, combined with misty days that give the impression of floating islands in the clouds, make it feel like a truly otherworldly destination. Isla Baja, Mexico. Long before satellites provided us with accurate, detailed maps of Earth's surface, explorers and sailors were relied upon to chart the world's landmasses. This led to occasional errors, such as the belief in the existence of islands that may have never been there. One such island remains a mystery to this day, Isla Baja, a small island off the northern coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. First recorded on Spanish maps dating back to the 16th century, Isla Baja was described as a small, reddish island located about 100 nautical miles off the Yucatan coast. It was widely believed to be real for centuries, but as modern mapping technology developed, expeditions to find it failed to uncover any trace of the island. Despite using advanced tools such as satellite imagery, sonar, and detailed surveys, no evidence of Isla Baja has been found, neither above nor below the waves. This island's disappearance has sparked numerous theories. One of the more plausible suggestions is that the island eroded over time or sank due to natural processes like rising sea levels. However, some argue that if it had eroded or sunk, there should still be some remnants of it beneath the water, but this has not been found. Another theory is that Isla Baja was simply a cartographic mistake, a ghost island that explorers mistakenly placed on maps, possibly misidentifying it or confusing it with a different location. In the late 20th century, the island's existence became politically significant during negotiations between Mexico and the United States over maritime boundaries, especially in the oil-rich region known as the Ch'dut Hole. The island's existence, if proven, would impact the division of economic zones between the two nations. The failure to find any trace of the island led to numerous speculations, including some far-fetched theories suggesting that the United States deliberately destroyed it to undermine Mexico's territorial claims. Though there is no evidence to support this, it demonstrates how deep the mystery of Isla Baja runs, sparking fierce debates and leading to a variety of intriguing theories. The Ice Towers, Mount Erebus, Antarctica. Mount Erebus, the southernmost active volcano on Earth, is home to one of Antarctica's most mysterious and incredible geological features, the Ice Towers. Situated near the summit of the volcano on Ross Island, these towering structures almost seem to guard one of the planet's most remote and inhospitable environments. Mount Erebus itself has been continuously active for decades, with a persistent lava lake bubbling at its summit. This geothermal activity has led to the formation of the ice towers, massive, hollow chimneys of ice that vent steam from the volcano's internal geothermal system. These ice structures develop when hot volcanic gases escape through cracks in the ice and snow that cover Erebus's upper slopes. As the steam rises, it cools in the frigid Antarctic air, freezing and gradually building up into towering spires that can reach heights of up to 60 feet, 18 meters. On a continent known for its freezing temperatures and lifeless landscapes, these ice towers are a striking example of activity and life beneath the frozen exterior. The towers are continually releasing steam, and as the steam cools, new layers of ice are added. This dynamic process gives the towers an ever-changing quality. The stark contrast of pristine white ice against the dark rocky surface of Mount Erebus, combined with the eerie, glowing blue light within their hollow interiors, caused by sunlight filtering through the thick ice, creates a surreal atmosphere. In addition to their otherworldly appearance, early studies at Mount Erebus have uncovered the presence of extremophiles, organisms that thrive in the harshest conditions, within the cracks and crevices of the ice. These discoveries could potentially provide valuable insights into the possibility of life on other planets, such as Mars or the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The remote, active volcanic environment makes it dangerous to approach the mountain, but researchers who have visited the ice towers describe a surreal atmosphere, where the combination of freezing temperatures, volcanic heat, and the silent presence of the towers creates a sense of being in a place unlike anywhere else on Earth. The 12 Apostles, Australia. Australia's 12 Apostles are a series of stunning limestone stacks that rise dramatically out of the Southern Ocean along the Great Ocean Road. These iconic formations are among the country's most recognizable landmarks, yet they hold an air of mystery surrounding their origins and their continuous transformation. Originally, there were only 9 stacks, not 12, and over time, the powerful forces of ocean waves and prevailing winds have carved away at the softer limestone, creating caves, then arches, and finally, freestanding columns. As a result, these towering rock formations, some reaching heights of up to 164 feet, 50 meters, have become isolated structures in the sea. Interestingly, the name 12 Apostles persists, despite there never actually being 12 stacks. The number was likely chosen for its symbolic appeal, though today only 8 stacks remain standing after one collapsed in 2005. The natural erosion of the stacks, which continues to gradually wear away at them, adds an element of impermanence to the formations. This constant change reminds us that these colossal structures won't last forever, creating a sense of mystery as they seem so strong and stable from a human perspective. The dynamic nature of the 12 Apostles also makes them a spectacular sight depending on when they're viewed. At sunrise and sunset, the limestone stacks glow in soft shades of orange and gold, while during stormy days, the violent crashing of the ocean against the base of the pillars envelopes them in mist and spray, transforming the landscape into a powerful and dangerous scene. Socotra, Yemen. Covering roughly 1,400 square miles, 3,700 square kilometers, Socotra is an archipelago off Yemen's coast in the Arabian Sea. This remote island group, particularly the main island also named Socotra, is renowned for its surreal landscapes and unique biodiversity. Isolated from the mainland for millions of years, Socotra has evolved along a unique trajectory, resulting in one of the most mysterious ecosystems on Earth. The vegetation here is unlike anything else in the world. The most iconic plant is the dragon's blood tree, with its umbrella-shaped canopy and thick branches. Its red sap, known as dragon's blood, is revered in local folklore for its medicinal and mystical properties and is believed to be linked to ancient rituals. Legend holds that giants once walked Socotra, planting these trees across the land. Another standout species is the desert rose, a thick-stemmed tree with bulbous roots and vibrant pink flowers. Designed for Socotra's arid climate, it stores water in its swollen trunk, which then contracts as the water is consumed. Of Socotra's 825 known plant species, over a third are endemic, found nowhere else on Earth. They are strange, almost alien in shape, seeming more suited to an otherworldly landscape. The animal life is equally unusual. Socotra lacks large mammals and dangerous predators, yet it hosts a rich variety of unique birds, reptiles, and invertebrates. Among them are the brilliantly colored Socotra sunbird and the Socotra cormorant, both unique to the island. Additionally, Socotra boasts rare geckos, skinks, and spiders, further solidifying its status as a truly special place on Earth. Mount Roraima, South America. Mount Roraima is an awe-inspiring, flat-topped mountain that stands at the intersection of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana. With a height of 9,219 feet, 2,810 meters, it rises dramatically above the surrounding jungle, creating a striking visual contrast. This Table Mountain, or Tepuy, is part of the ancient Guyana Shield, one of Earth's oldest geological formations, which means it has been isolated from the rest of the world for millions of years. The plateau at the summit, which spans about 12 square miles, 31 square kilometers, is home to an incredibly unique ecosystem. Large carnivorous plants like the Roraima pitcher plant and unusual endemic frogs thrive in the cloud forests of the mountain. The cliffs surrounding Mount Roraima are steep and vertical, rising hundreds of feet, making the mountain appear like a fortress floating in the sky. Its flat summit is adorned with bizarre rock formations, shaped over millennia by the forces of wind and rain. These formations sometimes resemble ancient ruins or statues, leading early explorers to believe they might be remnants of a forgotten civilization. For the local Pemon and Kappan tribes, Mount Roraima holds deep spiritual significance. Their legends describe the mountain as the stump of a giant tree that once held all the fruits and vegetables in the world. According to their myth, the tree was chopped down by one of their ancestors, which caused a great flood, leaving Mount Roraima behind as the last refuge for life to survive. Dead Vlei, Namibia. Dead Vlei, located within Namibia's Namib National Park, is one of the most hauntingly beautiful and mysterious landscapes on Earth. Part of the Namib Desert, Dead Vlei is an ancient clay pan, its name meaning dead marsh due to its eerie, lifeless appearance. The area is famous for its dead camelthorn trees, which are thought to be around 900 years old. These trees have not decomposed due to the extreme aridity of the climate, where the lack of moisture prevents microorganisms from breaking down the organic material. The skeletal remains of these trees, blackened by the scorching desert sun, create a surreal atmosphere, adding to the ghostly nature of the landscape. However, Dead Vlei was not always a barren wasteland. In the past, it was an oasis fed by the Tsachib River, which would occasionally flow through the desert, nourishing the trees. Over time, however, the shifting sand dunes blocked the river's flow, leaving Dead Vlei without water. The trees died, but the arid conditions preserved them in a state of strange stillness, creating the desolate and fascinating landscape seen today. The surrounding sand dunes are among the tallest in the world, with some reaching heights of almost 1,000 feet, 300 meters. The vibrant red color of the dunes comes from high iron content in the sand, which has oxidized over millions of years, contributing to the unique and mysterious atmosphere of Dead Vlei. The Giant's Causeway, Ireland. No visit to Northern Ireland's Antrim coast is complete without exploring the Giant's Causeway, a geological marvel that appears almost too perfect to be natural. Comprising around 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, most of which are hexagonal, this ancient rock formation stretches out into the North Atlantic, creating a striking stepped pathway that has puzzled onlookers for generations. The columns' colors change with the lighting, shifting from deep gray and black to a golden hue at sunset. The formation of the causeway dates back 50 million years to a period of intense volcanic activity. As lava cooled and cracked, these precise geometric columns emerged, baffling geologists who still debate the finer points of the process. This perfection has inspired stories for centuries, with the most famous being the tale of the Irish giant Finn mac Cool, who supposedly built the causeway as a bridge to confront his Scottish rival, Bonandener. When Finn realized his foe was far larger than anticipated, he retreated, with his clever wife disguising him as a baby. Seeing the baby's enormous size, Bonandener assumed its father was a colossal giant and fled back to Scotland, tearing up the bridge behind him to prevent pursuit. This legend, woven deeply into Irish culture, has made the Giant's Causeway a symbol of local identity and history, forever adding a layer of mystique to this breathtaking natural formation. Mount Thor, Canada. Located on Baffin Island in Nunavut, Canada, Mount Thor is a record-breaking natural wonder. Part of Oyuitik National Park, it is known for its sheer granite cliffs and rugged Arctic terrain. What makes Mount Thor unique is its world-renowned vertical drop, boasting the greatest vertical cliff face on Earth, stretching nearly 4,100 feet, 1,250 meters. This immense drop makes the mountain appear awe-inspiring and humbling, as the sheer scale of the cliff face dominates the landscape. The mountain itself rises to an altitude of approximately 5,495 feet, 1,675 meters, which is not as high as Mount Everest, but its near vertical western face is what truly sets it apart. The cliff drops at an astonishing 105 degrees angle, creating an overhang that gives the appearance of defying gravity. Adding to the allure of Mount Thor is its remote location in the Arctic, surrounded by an untouched, icy wilderness. The region experiences extreme weather conditions, with temperatures plummeting well below freezing, even in the summer months. The isolation and harsh climate make Mount Thor a particularly difficult place to explore or reach. Despite its relatively modest height, the near-vertical face of the mountain, combined with the unpredictable Arctic weather, makes it one of the most challenging climbs in the world. The first successful ascent of Mount Thor took place in 1985, and since then, only a handful of climbers have dared to take on its formidable face. Even those who have succeeded often face significant obstacles due to the unpredictable weather and difficult terrain. This combination of extreme challenges has earned Mount Thor a reputation as more than just a mountain. It's a true test of human endurance. Mount Kyash in Tibet. At the dawn of the 20th century, explorers set their sights on the highest peaks on Earth, using new technologies to finally conquer famous mountains like Everest and K2. Yet, there are still mountains that remain unclimbed, even though they aren't as towering as others. Among them, one of the most mysterious is Mount Kyash, located in the remote western region of Tibet. Standing at 21,000 feet, 6,600 meters, above sea level, Mount Kyash is not as tall as the giants of the Himalayas, but its unique pyramid shape and spiritual significance set it apart. The mountain holds a sacred place in several religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Bon. In fact, it is considered one of the most sacred mountains in the world, regarded as the center of the spiritual universe. The spiritual importance of Mount Kyash stems from its unusual geography. Two of Asia's most important rivers, the Indus and the Brahmaputra, originate nearby, along with the Sut and the Karnali, a tributary of the Ganges. This concentration of sacred water sources in the region has led many to believe that Mount Kyash is the navel of the world, a source of life force for the lands around it. Despite its relatively moderate height compared to other peaks in the Himalayas, Mount Kyash remains unclimbed not because of technical difficulty, but because of its sacred nature. The Chinese government has expressly forbidden any attempts to climb the peak. There are no tour guides to be found, and locals are deeply protective of the mountain. They believe that even attempting to climb it would bring disastrous consequences. According to legend, the summit is a domain for deities, and it is not a place for humans to set foot. The mystery surrounding Mount Kyash only deepens with the reverence that locals hold for it, coupled with the belief that climbing it would disturb its spiritual sanctity. While it remains one of the most enigmatic mountains in the world, whether it will ever be climbed remains uncertain. Until then, Mount Kyash will continue to be one of Earth's most mysterious and revered peaks. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Special thanks to our channel members.